Hello, friends. Welcome back to Small Couch Reviews. It's your boy Sam. No Jovi tonight. He is dealing with some family duties, so you're riding with me solo on this small couch. Well, me and Gucci Roshi here, and some of my favorite anime characters. All right, so I got to see Ghostbusters: Frozen Empire early screening tonight. Now I got there and I saw a bunch of people in Ghostbusters gear, like decked out. They had the proton packs, the costumes. There were some people actually dressed as ghosts. It just reminded me just how big this franchise is. Like, in the 40 years since this come out, it has millions upon millions of die-hard fans, people who have watched every movie, cartoon, comic books, the video games. People are just totally into it. That's never been me. I've always looked at it as just, a movie that's okay. I don't hate it like I hate Fast and the Furious. But to me, it's just something I watch and I'm like, all right, yeah, this is entertaining. But then it leaves my head after I watch it. Not to say that it's forgettable, but I'm not fanboying over it. I cannot tell you how much my opinion has changed on this fact. In the last 3 hours since I saw it, I loved this movie. I loved it a lot. I think that this movie is, not only is it a great film, it's probably the best in the franchise. I have to rewatch one. I saw two a bunch of times, but I definitely think this is better than Afterlife. It's better than two. And, even if it's not the quote-unquote best, it's definitely my favorite. Okay, Frozen Empire, y'all. I was smiling on the drive home. Like, I can't believe how much I liked this movie. There's a lot to talk about. And we usually start with the sour, then get to the sweet, but I really only have one thing I dislike, so I'm gonna save that till the end and just get into what I liked. So the Spanglers have moved from Oklahoma City to New York. They are full-fledged Ghostbusters now, right? And they're working with the original Ghostbusters as well. And, this movie has a lot of characters. Like, a lot. Like, I'm actually realizing this in real time. There's a lot of them, and they all have something to do. Which is why, I'll say this, I think this movie, more than Afterlife, serves as a better reboot / refresh of the franchise. Because in Afterlife, even though the original Ghostbusters, they showed them, they kind of, it was a lot of nostalgia bait, and then they shoehorned them in the third act. Whereas in this movie, they are full-fledged cast members from the beginning. So you have all the old Ghostbusters with the new Ghostbusters working cohesively in this movie. And like I said, there's a lot of characters, and we spend time with each of them in their own pockets. But they're all contributing to the, I guess, overall plot, overall threat. And it works. It works. And that's very impressive when I'm thinking about it, because there's never a point where I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm tired of dealing with these people. Can you go back to these people? Or, oh my gosh, can this scene end so that we can get back to these people? That never happens. I was always interested from beginning, where the movie just starts, to the end. There's never a dull moment. So shout out to the screenwriters and director for that. Now, let's talk about characters, because I want to talk about McKenna Grace so bad. Just like in the first movie, she is the flat-out star of this movie. And that's saying something, because there are a lot of characters in this movie, or all the characters, rather, have a moment that, just to shine. And none of them do bad. But her, like, she is our lens into the world. I mean, even though she's now a Ghostbuster and she's doing this with her family, you still see she has this feeling that, like, because of, I guess her brain, or the way she thinks, and, her love of science and her love of ghosts and all that, she doesn't feel that close to them. Like, she feels like there's still a piece of her that's different. And, I mean, her best relationship in this movie is when she forms with a ghost. And watching them and how they interact and their friendship grow, you really do feel for her. You're like, wow, it's crazy that, like, this ghost is really understanding this girl and everything she's going through. But, that also contributes to her arc, which I loved. I mean, it's a great written character. It's a fantastically written character and equally fantastically acted by McKenna Grace. Like Phoebe, the movie is just better when she is on screen and you see her going through what she's going through. Now, that brings me to the other character I want to talk about. Now, all the characters in this movie are great. I'm not going to go through every single one of them, but they're all good. Just there's not a single performance that is like bad. But Kumail Nanjiani, he joins the cast as let's say he's an ally of the Ghostbusters in this film. Yeah. Okay, so you know that Ghostbusters is going to be funny, right? I mean, in a movie that has Paul Rudd, Bill Murray, and Dan Aykroyd, all of them are, like comedy geniuses. They have almost perfect comedic timing, and their just natural charisma it just lends itself to making you smile and laugh and have a good time. But Kumail, this dude, 98% of the reason why I think this is my favorite movie is him. This dude, he is hilarious in this film. Just flat out gold. Now, when he's introduced, you don't actually realize that he's going to be a main cast member until they go back to him. And it's at the point when they go back to him, the second scene he's in, that I realize I'm like, okay, this is my guy. Like, he just kind of like McKenna Grace, like I just said, the movie is better when he is on screen. And while almost everything he says is truly funny, you can tell there are moments where he's like, okay, I do have to be a little bit more serious here. And I just loved it. Like, I actually can't describe his performance. I want to know how much of it was ad-libbed. I can't believe that he was written this way because there are way too many things that he just utters off that just make you laugh. Legit, I was laughing out loud, very loud, in this theater at him. Like I said, the rest of the characters are great. I will say Finn Wolfhard, just like in Afterlife, he doesn't really seem to have a lot to do here. Now, his acting and his character aren't, like, irritants or anything. It just seems like if he wasn't in the movie, it would be the same movie. But his addition doesn't take away from the movie like some characters do. It's just something I noticed. I feel like they're still trying to figure out what to do with him in this movie. Okay, so let's talk about the busting. Ghost busting. So the effects really work in this movie. There are a few horror elements. It's not like, it's obviously Ghostbusters isn't a scary movie, but they do throw in some horror in here. There are moments where, you see a ghost and it might disappear, the lights go out and sound creeps in, and you're like, oh, our heroes are actually in danger. That all works really well. The ghosts themselves, especially the main ghost, the main bad guy, like, you look at it and you're like, that is a computer generated image. Like, there's no denying it. It doesn't look like a real thing, right? But it's still good CGI. There's CGI where you look at it and you're like, that's not real. It looks completely fake, and I don't even know why you tried to show this to me. And there are others where it's like, that is like, what was that movie we just saw, The Creator, where it's like, I can't actually tell what part of this is fake, that it's really good. And then there's this, where it's, I know that's CG, but it's good CG. I know that's not a real thing, but it's not distracting me at all from the scene. And that's how this movie was all throughout, now that I think about it. There's not one scene in it where I was like, this is really, really bad. Which is saying something, because I'm quick to call that kind of stuff out. So yeah, my one negative, the only thing I'll say, there is a character in this movie, a smart character, who does something really stupid, and that stupid thing has a big impact on the movie. Now in this character's defense, it's not like, like they're brain smart, so it wasn't like, I guess, brain stupid, where they just did something dumb. It was more emotional stupid, like the person who gambles with their heart instead of their head and bets on the home team that is the worst in the league, right? You're just like, what are you doing? That was dumb. So, I mean, I didn't really like that piece of it, but it was really minor, and no, it didn't really take away from the movie for me. It's just something I noticed. But yeah, man, so look, Ghostbusters, at the end of the day, it's a great time at the movies. I'd encourage you to go with your families. I encourage you to support it. Buy it when it comes out. All the works. I'll be doing that like I said, this is my favorite Ghostbusters film to date. It gets a 4.5 out of 5 for me, actually. And yeah, I think it was all around good. I think the cast did a phenomenal job, and everyone behind the camera did a phenomenal job too. They should all give themselves a pat on the back. And I didn't get to talk. I know I didn't talk about the whole cast, but just trust me, every single one of them has a moment that will make you smile. But yeah, man. So look, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. Let me know when you see it. Let's talk about it right down there in the comments. I appreciate you guys watching so much, and until next time, I'm out.